Friday in Atlanta without a traffic jam. It wouldn't be any day in Atlanta without a traffic jam as we move headed to the deck, Decatur, where they say it's greater, Decatur. Cobb County. Cobb County is noted as having the highest, I have to check my facts again, but last time I saw the highest population of African Americans in Metro Atlanta. And we're proud during February, Black History Month, to take y'all to a shop today as we do this tour of comic book shops in the metro area that is ran by Tony Kane, which is the only black-owned store in Atlanta, comic book store, comic books and related material. Just to make this left to get up in here because with all this traffic coming from the other way. Alright, so this is North Cobb Mall. Be real, it's amazing that this place is even still open. It's been threatened to be closed for years and years, which unfortunately is the case for a lot of malls. People just ain't in the malls like that no more. There's Lennox, of course, still doing what it does. You got Cumberland Mall out in Cobb County. And I guess you could mention South Lake for being somewhat active. But this is one of the last of the malls that's still struggling to stay relevant, and it's still open. And right here on this side is Challenges, Games and Comics, right there. At night, I don't know if he still has the sign lit up at night, but that's one of the entrances. They may have closed that one where you don't enter from the outside anymore if you have to go in the mall, which we will do. Let's park and go on in here and say what's up. Because we about that mask life. Real superheroes do what they gotta do. Okay, so the interior of the mall is closed. I guess I might be able to enter from this side door. It's looking open, and we're in. Hey, how you doing?
How can I help you today?
I was meeting up with Tony.
It's in the back.
He's in the back. Just knock on the door. All right, appreciate it. It's Joseph, man. While I awaited the man of the hour, I took a brief self-tour of this incredible store. So much cool stuff. needing this too. Dang. I was not ready to spend this money today, but ooh, I've been needing this. It's the big one. Spike Lee is making a movie out of this. Can't wait for that. It's gonna be amazing. Shout out to Warren Wimberly. That's the homie. I met Warren at 2016 Comic-Con.
And this is Challenges, Games, and Comics. We can be reached at North DeKalb Mall in Decatur, Georgia. And the address is 2050 Lawrenceville Highway, Suite A18. www.challengesgames.com. About our subscription service. So we can like pull books for them, because we're one of the few shops in town that actually does a digital, where you can actually go online or on your phone and subscribe to our titles.
Nice.
All right, but I realized that we had so many people coming in just for variants. And you know, with comics, what's left on the shelf basically kills whatever you sold.
Yeah.
So if you got one left on the shelf, it kind of like negates the sale of two books. And so basically I realized and stuff that we were getting people in here all the time looking for variants.
Yeah.
And so I just concentrated on getting variants in.
Right.
And like I said, people get the variants from me, they turn around, they sell them on eBay for more money. Yeah. Or they keep them, you know, hoping that they're going to go up farther in price.
I just get it for myself and want to have it. Yeah. I love the art. You know, I'm all about the cover, you know.
But like I said, it's, you know, right now and stuff, I don't know whether it's a pandemic or what, but everybody's in the speculator mood. It's almost like right now and stuff, how people are going like crazy with Pokemon.
Okay.
It's not like all of a sudden a bunch of kids.
I'm not into Pokemon, but what's going on with Pokemon?
All right, basically, apparently some online YouTuber. I'm old, I could care less about, I don't watch anybody's online show. But went and dropped, I think I heard like $100,000. Getting some old Pokemon.
Ooh, okay.
Opened up the boxes and then turned around and sold the contents for like $400,000. Okay, speculating, trying to get more Pokemon. And you know, they're thinking of it like, I'm gonna get rich or I'm gonna get wealthy on Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then of course you got the people and stuff that just want to take advantage of the people who think they're gonna get rich off of it. You know, to me and stuff, it's almost like as bad as when Obama became president.
Okay, yep.
All right, and all of a sudden they had the Spider-Man story.
I remember that. I got one of those.
And I had people and stuff that I knew that were going down to Oxford Comics.
Yep.
And Oxford Comics was charging people like $100 for this issue.
Wow.
And I kept telling them, it's like, all right, Obama's only in a backup story.
Yeah.
The story's not any good. And regular comic collectors aren't going to care anything about this book. But people didn't listen, and they went down there and they dropped all that money to get these issues. And then they came back like a year later. Man, I should have listened to you. This book ain't worth nothing.
Yep.
And it's like there was nothing in it that was going to make regular collectors want the book. And it wasn't even the first appearance of Barack Obama in a comic book.
Which was? What was?
The first appearance of Barack Obama in a comic book was Dragon, what's his name? Not Dragon Man.
Super Dragon, the pop.
Savage Dragon,
Savage Dragon.
Yeah. Savage Dragon was the first appearance.
That's what's up. And I know Archie did it too, so I was just thinking about them when you said it.
You know, but like I said, you know, when people get into like that speculation mindset, you know, they're like, okay, how can I get rich? It's almost the one of the things that almost killed comics back in the 90s.
I was just about to say, if you don't talk about the Batman thing, yeah, man.
You know, or remember how people were going out buying like 20 copies of Spawn #1?
That's what killed it. That was the Great Glut, they called it, yeah.
Right, and, you know, they had shops over ordering, you know, and it would be different and stuff. It's like, when people come into this store, and they're pretty much like, hey, well, what comics should I get that's going to be worth money? I'm like, all right, first of all, if all you're doing is speculating, find a comic that's already in demand, that's old, it's already rare. Drop your money on that.
That's right. That's
All right. As far as like any new comics, read what you want to read.
Yes.
And if it winds up being the first appearance of somebody who becomes popular later, it's just gravy then.
That's right.
But you should be in the comics not for the investment,
Yes.
but because you enjoy reading them.
Always.
And then, you know, the investment part is just a bonus.
Yeah. There you go. Like any other form of art, what you buy.
The facial expressions and your
Okay.
acting and stuff, I think it was in Black Lightning. Where
Oh,
all
right,
you were
right,
doing was just like tilting the head and like no spoken line, no nothing, just the facial expressions. That was so entertaining.
Hollywood, you hear that?
We will not allow an outside entity to
I need to come back. They need my fans want me. They want me to speak. You see, even without lines, I'm dope. You understand? Okay, anyway. Thank you.
Okay.
Because brothers been waiting on the big break, as they say, forever, man. It's been like 8 years, but we ain't gonna make it about me. It's about you today.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Appreciate that, man. Who is that? Reddish. I'm trying to think.
Oh,
That
Cam
one?
Reddish. She plays for the Hawks.
Okay, see, I ain't even been keeping up with the house like that, but I saw that
But no,
jersey
do you
because-
know, this is the MLK shirt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, the 22 right here
Okay.
is the 22 times that Martin Luther King was jailed.
Oh, okay. That's how they repping. I see it. I see
Yeah,
it.
so that's the importance of the 22.
Nice.
I basically was like that day when they announced it, I
Uh-huh.
put in my order.
Yeah. That's what's up. Now, North DeKalb Mall, I think I read last time I was out here, because I shot a movie out here. It was, no, it was a TV show for YouTube. And, what is it? Champagne Eel. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's one of their originals or whatever, but they shot it in the food court.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of scenes. But anyway, they had a sign on the door talking about the mall was closing and everything. So is it officially closed in the mall area now? Is that?
All right, the interior of the mall is closed.
Okay.
The combination of the fact that they were originally going to tear down the mall. Yeah, the interior of the mall closed. Basically, the combination of people moving out because they heard that the mall was going to get demolished.
Right, right.
And also,
So they are going to just totally tear it down.
well, that was the game plan. Originally, they were going to tear down the mall, rebuild a little shopping area, and they're going to sell a chunk of the land to Costco. But what they're mainly going to put here was going to be a bunch of townhomes and condos.
Ooh, okay.
All right, and basically that deal fell through.
Okay.
So the last thing I heard, rumor-wise, is they're trying to resell the mall. But basically because of the people that were inside the mall still, they weren't generating enough income to support the inside of the mall.
Right.
Because that's one thing about malls. Malls are like really expensive to maintain.
Absolutely.
That's why strip malls and stuff are like where everybody's moving to now because malls are expensive. And so they basically said, okay, you guys got a choice. Either everybody get an outside spot or move.
Okay.
And then fortunately for me, I've got an outside door.
Yeah.
So I was able to stay.
Yeah, I know that worked out for you because I know you always had that door.
Oh yeah.
So before you were here, you used to be on the road at Memorial? Or,
Yeah, we were on Memorial Drive.
That's right, that's right. Right down from the Tupac Center, right?
Across the street from the Tupac
Yeah.
Center.
Are they still open?
No.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. But that was
And something else that came on Financial Hard Times.
Yeah, that was a dope. I went in there one time, and since I started doing this, I wanted to, trying to hit all the hot spots of Atlanta.
Actually, that's why I originally was thinking about doing my first convention before I moved over here to the mall within the Tupac Center. I thought it would have been a good spot.
Tell them about your con, what you do.
Oh, the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo? Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo. Man, I forgot my website.
So,
AtlantaSci-Fi.com. Just Google it, it'll pop up.
I'll put something at the bottom when I edit.
But yeah, this past March we were supposed to have our sixth show,
Okay.
which is actually was gonna be like our biggest one. We actually had a bunch of voice actors coming in. We had people from Black Lightning that were gonna be guests.
I feel you.
Basically, we had like over 50 vendors,
Yeah,
and we had like the 60 hours worth of programming.
man.
So this past year was gonna be like the biggest show ever, and it's a show that was basically free to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, basically the vendors paid for the entire convention.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of COVID, it got bad that second weekend of March. And since we had a lot of volunteers working for us who actually worked for the CDC,
Oh.
they basically came to me and it was like, Tony, you can't do the show. If you do the show, you'll be responsible for a bunch of people getting infected. And, you know, I was like, well, there's no choice. I just got to cancel it.
Right, right. And that, I mean, needless to say, man, that's why I'm on hiatus. I tell people all the time, like, we are proudly online. Clearly, this is it. People ask me what's on. I'm like, you looking at it, like. This is how I'm getting my content now. This is how I'm getting it out to people this time, showing people, we're still active, we're still alive. Hopefully we're all healthy, you know what I mean? And we will come back around, but I'm in no rush, man. I'm like, it's actually working out in some ways for me because I got time to truly plan, build relationships, and know that by the time I do something physical again, it'll be bigger than ever.
Well, one of the things I point out to a lot of people and stuff, it's like with all this time that a lot of us are supposed to be like separated and everything else, any project or anything you wanted to self-learn, you have like no excuse not to be doing it right now.
No excuse.
So you should be like on YouTube, learning how to do different things, or use that free time. Unfortunately, fortunately, I haven't taken a lot of a hit on retail, even though I can't do tournaments or anything right now. But because we do miniatures and paints and model kits and stuff like that, and people have time, they've been coming in and getting product from us. So the shop's still been able to survive without having to be able to do tournaments.
Perfect for that. So yeah, I told Tony, I said if I'm gonna do this, I have to be in the camera with a beautiful lady. So WELr is here, so taking advantage of that. Vampirella, it has been so long, my sweet. Go look up Blade the Last Night, this fan film I did, and my character is Babatunde Mosi. You'll understand. You were saying, Tony?
Oh yeah, we do board games, miniature games, collectible card games, chess sets, all the games that aren't video games.
Word. Did y'all ever do video games? Or?
No, we thought about it a few times. I actually talked to a few people who worked at GameStop, and the employees told me a long time ago, it's like, no, GameStop's gonna be in trouble. Don't get the video games. It's not the future.
Unless it stops. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Started at the other location in the 90s.
Actually, our very first location was down near Ponce Highland, near Midtown. And we actually had it where it was in combination. We basically had a comic book shop, a photography studio, and an art studio that featured Don Hiddleston, who worked for like Marvel and DC Comics. And we actually had like a space that had 3 different sections. And we had all 3 of them right there in Midtown.
Nice. Word. And then, so you moved from Midtown out here?
Well,
we went to the other location on Memorial.
Well, we had the location stuff in Midtown, and then we moved over to Ponce Highland, over near Virginia Highlands.
Okay.
And that was a really good spot at that location and stuff until wintertime hit, because we were like staying open till like 2 o'clock in the morning. During the spring and summer, because the environment in that neighborhood and stuff is like, I guess a lot of people explain it as like the bohemian type thing. So like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, people are still out in the streets and shopping and partying and everything else. Then wintertime hits. These things like multiply. They're gonna take over the store. They started off with like a little section like this.
Hey, check in next week.
These are dope. I ain't even know. That's Secret 6. That's part of WELr's universe.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, and stuff. The present writer on stuff on WELr is Christopher Priest,
Oh, I didn't know
who's
that.
known, of course, for being his run on Black Panther.
Y'all hear that, right?
And he was one of the first black editors at Marvel Comics.
Y'all hear that, right? He's a historian too. You gotta be in this biz. People expect you to know your stuff. That's the best shot. That's why you survived so long. Man, that's what's up. Oops, am I got it back? No, that's it. Yep. Covers, man. See, that's what get me is the cover. That's what have me at the register. I'd be like, oh man, not the cover.
Well, like you said and stuff, a lot of the new WELr and the Sacred Six and stuff, got all the Found Sisters on that stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
They've been selling.
That's gonna make it happen every time. For sure.
And then the 96 Olympics. And all of the landlords, started getting, dollar signs in their eyes.
Wow.
So we actually had to shut down because, our rent was like astronomical. And basically what happened is that, you know, I pretty much waited until like, you know, after the Olympics, and then I reopened up the shop with myself as the sole owner. Because originally when I first started it off and stuff, I was supposed to be like a silent partner, because the gentleman and stuff that I started it with had already sold his back issue collection, and I still had mine. But at the time, like I said, I was a wedding photographer.
Oh, really?
And so that's where most of my energy and stuff was going. Even though I love comics, at that time I was doing wedding photography. I was doing wedding photography and I was tending bar.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And so then after the Olympics, I reopened back the store as the Dragon Sword, which a lot of people knew about, you know, for years over Memorial Drive. And then it's kind of like just, you know, probably one of the, you know, few shops around that has no problem selling, you know, Batman panties.
Bring it in close.
Yes, Batman.
Wow. Yeah.
But like I said, you know, they sell.
I bet. So you got a little bit of everything anybody could ever want up in here. That's
I mean, I try to have it in stuff where extremely, you know, diverse selection.
Yeah.
You know, basically when you come into my store, you're like, do you have? You know, I like to be able to say yes.
That's right.
Or if I don't have it, I've got a distributor that I can call and get it in for you.
Now, most comic book stores I know work through Diamond. Has there ever been anybody else you dealt with, or is that pretty much the core for everything?
Well, pretty much the stuff is like for the most of our books, you know, I get them from Diamond Comics. Unfortunately, actually, DC Comics split away from Diamond.
I did not know.
And now have their own distributorship.
Wow.
They actually had two. They actually took two online resellers, one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast, and they were using them. And now they're down to one.
Wow. So, so when did that happen?
Oh, months ago.
Oh, so this is recent, very recent.
It happened during the pandemic. They decided they actually decided that they were going to split off from Diamond during the early part of the pandemic. And they wanted their books to be delivered to stores. Even though most of the stores were closed. Because of the pandemic.
I see.
You know, DC, you know, Diamond, because of where their warehouses and everything were, basically had to like shut down because of the COVID. DC didn't like that apparently. They wanted their books to keep being distributed. And because Diamond was shut down, they decided they were going to find another distributor venue to go with so their books could still be distributed, even though at the beginning of it, most shops were still shut down.
How about that? Wow. So here we are in front of the part of the store where you can directly find independent, black-owned comics and related. So tell us about this, Tony, and how you got a lot of this content.
Well, a lot of this content is a lot of local creators right here around the Atlanta area. But I also get a lot of people that I reached out to. Actually, a good way of bringing it up is that when they shot season 2, episode 5 of Cobra Kai here in my store, they needed comics for the background. But of course, you can't go to Disney and Warner Brothers and get permission. So I reached out to all of the different indie creators that I knew and got them to sign off on permission for their books to be on the TV show. And so most of these already had in stock, but a couple of books that have actually already sold out were sent by the different creators. And so, you know, the whole idea and stuff of, you know, keeping this area where independent creators could come in and put their books was always a plus. And usually the way I would do it is that, of course, we had the convention where people can come by and show their stuff. But I allow creators to come to the shop and do free signings. And basically, I don't charge them anything. I don't even charge for any books that they sell. I let them come in. I take a look at how they do their marketing, who shows up for their signings. And then if it looks like it's something that's promising and I like the contents of their books, I'll just straight up buy the comics from them. And then put them in there. So I don't do consignments or anything like that.
Awesome.
My whole thing is like, okay, you got a book. Show me that you can sell your book. And then I'll spend my money to get it here in my store.
And you know, we go back. So I think the first thing popped in my head when you talk about that relationship you build with these independents is that you work with artists, you work on books. You had Terminus. I don't know if Terminus is still in effect. Tell them about that. But you know, it's like when you've done it, you know how hard it is to get your stuff out.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the things and stuff I do and stuff like I said, Terminus Media was originally started in my comic shop when it was over Memorial. Basically, I was hosting art classes, and it was also a screenwriters group. So I basically came up with the idea of like, okay, let's get these groups together and start producing comic books, because we didn't have the resources at that time to try to do movies.
Yeah.
But we were like, okay, we can get these people together who are trying to be screenwriters. So we can get these people here who are trying to be artists. We put them together, and we can produce a comic book. We can raise the money to produce a comic book.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I reached out to people I knew, like Brian Stelfreeze and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And got like a lot of knowledge on the proper way to produce a comic.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And so we actually started off producing anthology series.
Nice.
Because we were told that if you can write an 8-page comic story, that basically, you know, you can write anything. You know, can you get, you know, a beginning, middle, and end, or conflict, you know, and resolution and everything, all within 8 pages, then you're a good storyteller. So that's what we started doing. We started producing, you know, anthologies with like 8-page stories that actually show that we could write.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, so yeah, tell us about what you got coming out, man.
Well, actually, one time I actually was thinking I was out of the, you know, the comic publishing, you know, business.
Okay.
But I actually had a couple of former artists that I worked with before said that they wanted to like do stories with a character that I created. And I was pretty much like, I don't know, if I'm going to do this, I want to do something and take it to another level. You know, because I was always like, okay, there needs to be, you know, more, you know, young black female protagonist characters out there.
Okay.
And so that's why I created a new character called Autumn Fox.
What's the name again?
Autumn Fox.
Dope.
And she's going to be in the Kickstarter that I'm going to be launching later this month, called the Fox Chronicles.
Fox Chronicles.
And I basically pulled in a bunch of artists that I used to work with before, along with writer Robert Jeffrey II.
Oh man, shout out to Robert Jeffrey. That's my homie.
Oh yeah.
So,
You know, and I like to think about it stuff. Like, I still remember Robert and stuff when he was, you know, attending conventions.
Yep.
And I approached him as like, hey, you know, I want to see what you can do. You know, come on, you know, and join our group and start writing some stories for us. And then, you know, to like look at where he is now and stuff,
man.
is like he's like in demand.
yeah, he's
But
right.
that's the cool thing about it though, is like, you know, I can actually say that, you know, I helped a lot of people. You know, we've got a bunch of artists and stuff that came through, you know, the group that are now working for Marvel and DC and, you know, Image and Dark Horse. And,
That's right.
You know, a lot of their first published works were all with the books that I, you know, put together the creative team.
That's what's up, man.
So it's pretty cool watching, you know, everybody like flourish in their careers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when's your Kickstarter coming out?
Well, if everything goes according to plan and it actually gets approved,
Okay.
it'll be launching on February 12th. But if it's not on February 12th, it'll be like really close to it.
Dope.
But like I said, it's going to be the Fox Chronicles.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is a WheeLr video, but it's definitely tied in with ONYXCON, so you know already, we family. So as soon as it's out, just send it my way. I got you.
Okay, I actually, later on and stuff, will send you over some images from it.
Yeah, we'll post up some stuff on Instagram, man. You know we're going to salute. All day. Social media?
Oh yeah, we've got social media, Instagram, Discord, you know, all that stuff.
Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Good question. I don't know. It's like it's all linked up together.
It's all good. But there he is. Mr. Marcus Williams, the legend, Tuskegee Airs. Shout out to him and Greg.
There's a new poster that just brought by for me. I'm actually gonna get it framed.
That's dope. That's dope. You say they're gonna he said Marcus did a cover for you for your new project?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
With high school and stuff in the mid-80s. Oh, okay. So me and my friends, we thought we were like, you know, proper nerds. We went to East Atlanta High School, but that town was like 99% black.
Okay.
You know, so we were like reading comic books and we were playing chess. So we figured we had that whole nerd thing down. And then we went to a chess tournament and we played against Parkview. You know, which is like, you know, back then, Parkview was like as white as you could get. Okay. And we beat them in the chess tournament. All right. And after we beat them and stuff, right, you know, they weren't like salty or anything. They were like all friendly and everything.
Right.
And they were like, hey, you know, do you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? And so we all were looking at each other. What's Dungeons and Dragons? you know, and then they're like, oh man, it's this really cool game, blah, 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 blah. You guys should come and play with us. And so like the kid like invited us over to his house and taught us how to play Dungeons and Dragons. And we were like, oh, we ain't in this nerd world yet. There's more stuff for us. You know, so I started going to stuff like Dragon Con. You know, I remember what Dragon Con and Fantasy Fair, I used to show up and there were like, you know, 5 black people at the entire convention.
Wow.
You know, now you show up and it's like thousands of us.
Of everybody.
You know, so always people's like, I'm sorry, there's the OG right here. Okay, you know.
Straight up.
I was doing this before all y'all.
Straight up.
Okay.
Straight up.
Y'all had to wait for anime for y'all to get into it.
Exactly.
You know, I did it before anime. The popular die is the D20 die, which is usually like your hits and your attacks.
Right.
So you want to like roll as high, you know, as you can and stuff close to 20. If you roll a 20, usually your character does like additional damage. You got your 10-siders right here, which is like your percentile dice. So you have like a different percentage of it. And then the other dice are usually used for like weapons. And you got like your broad swords that'll do like 1d12. You know, you got other weapons, swords that'll do like 1d6. Then you got your arrow weapons. And then of course magic missile, which is d4s.
Okay. Cool. Let me see. I'm just gonna do some randomness. How'd I do?
Not good, because if you spray them all over like on the table, the game table, everybody be looking at you.
There's 3, 2 on that one, and a 4. If I was in a game, what would I be doing?
Now you wouldn't be doing good because it's 3 on a dice that has as high as 10.
Oh man.
No, you wouldn't have been doing good. A 2 out of one that's as high as 8, not good. This is your best one with 4, because the highest you would have got there was 6.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm already biased because 3 is my number. I'm Joseph Will the third. Hit a 3. All right, how'd I do this time?
Oh, horrible.
Oh man.
This is a 6-sider, you rolled a 1. This is a 10-sider, you rolled a 2. This is a 8-sider, you rolled a 5.
Let me get this here. This here got a lot of options. Let me see.
Yeah, that's your D20.
What I do?
You did 9.
Nice.
So you're basically at a 50 percentile range.
Oh, that's not too bad. Whatever. 50-50. Me and you, we did this video. Cool. But you were saying that games are like your top seller up in here? Like,
oh yeah, right now, so we do board games, miniature games, collectible card games. Because of the pandemic, a lot of the miniature games are really popular because people have time to paint their miniatures. And then the games workshop games like Warhammer, you know, people can actually work on that, build their armies and paint their armies.
Nice.
And still, collectible card games are like the biggest. Those would be your games like your Magic the Gathering, your Yu-Gi-Oh, your Pokemon.
So yeah, thanks Tony, man. This has been a lot of fun, you know what I'm saying? Hanging out with Tony, that's my man. We go way back. 2 legends in Atlanta making this whole culture, because it's cultures, come together and do something new in the communities. Because I've been doing ONYXCON, he's been doing his conventions and the store for years. Yes, sir.
Hey, diversity is where it's at.
That's what's up.
Hi, I'm Tony Cade of Challenges Games and Comics, located at 2050 Lawrenceville Highway, Suite A18, Decatur, Georgia, 30083, and North DeKalb Mall.
Thanks, Tony. Today's WheeLr Rides presentation is brought to you in part by ONYXCON. This has been an ONYXCON exclusive fusion with WheeLr Rides. If you enjoy this content and other popular arts presentations, be sure to support and follow ONYXCON. The ONYXCON Foundation is a nonprofit 501c3 organization in Atlanta, Georgia. We support diversity in the popular arts.